Hi, everyone. Me and Suzanne are here. I'll let Suzanne say hello to her people and then I'll say hello too.
Hi, I'm Suzanne Noble, and I'm the host of a podcast and a blog that I do every week on Substack called Sex Advice for Seniors. And yeah, I've been looking at all different ways to try and attract subscribers. Just to give you a little bit of a background, I spent a considerable period of my life working in PR, mainly as an entertainment publicist. I work with some really big superstars in the entertainment industry, and then moved into tech for a while and used my knowledge of publicity to drive awareness of my tech business. And now on Substack, I look at all different ways that I can just get people to find me, whatever way that happens to be. So yeah, we're here talking about that.
Thank you. Thank you for taking the time today to join. Also because I was kind of confusing as to the time we're doing this. So yeah. Anywho, we have people here already. A few of you, if you don't know Suzanne and you're from my side of the woods, if you can say that, then subscribe to Suzanne. She has the most entertaining notes. She knows I love them. I always comment and I'm like, how do you come up with this stuff? And she's like, my life is this stuff. Like, there's no making it up.
No,
And what
brain
I
dump,
also
really.
what you didn't mention is that you also have another Substack you're collaborating on, Get Work Done, if I'm not
Yeah.
wrong. And I think on that one, you shared an article. And the article was about how you stumbled upon a growth hack. Suzanne hates the word hack. Um, so I'll try to avoid using it. But you basically grew a bit just because you were sharing and sparring on Reddit about Substack. And then I was like, that's super interesting. And I think all growth gurus out there are like, stay on Substack, put notes, no. That's the only way to grow. And if you've listened to actually the founders of Substack, they actually want you to go out in the broader world and fish out new people to attract to Substack. And I think that makes a lot of sense. Why fish in a small pond when you can fish in 1,000 small ponds or big ponds? So, can you tell me a little bit how you ended up on Reddit, Substack? Like,
Yeah.
where is this magical place where we grow on Reddit?
Well, yeah, just to give you a bit of background. So I do have a second Substack called the Get Work Done Club. It's mainly aimed at the people who have gone or are going through a program that I run in the UK that's a government funded program called Startup School for Seniors. So I've got a completely different hat. I've been self-employed and running my own businesses since I was 27 years old, and I'm now 64. So I've always been pretty much self-employed or a director of a company. And as a result of that, um, I, I coach people, and I'm not a qualified coach, but I run this program helping older people start businesses. And my belief is that I'm not one of those people that says, if you can't do it, you teach. I'm one of these people who believe you have to do it and teach. like, like that's the whole point is do it and then work out whether it works. And then if it doesn't work,
Yeah.
then don't teach it because it doesn't work, right? So
Yeah.
so I have constantly been testing out all sorts of different things because I think it's fun anyway. Experimenting is fun. And that's how I got started on TikTok, where I've got like over 150,000 followers just through like, oh, let's just try out TikTok. But anyway, I didn't know anything about Reddit. Honestly, people have been telling me about Reddit for ages, and I thought it was a place where young boys went to vent about crap, whatever, right? Or talk about Minecraft or something. I honestly didn't really know anything about Reddit. And it was through another client of mine that I started thinking, oh, there's a lot of young guys on here and men. I'm going to go and explore this platform for another client. And while I got when I started doing that, of course, I got curious and I started looking around. I saw there was a Substack one. I saw there was one about side hustles. I saw there was one about newsletters, all these subreddits. For people who don't know, Reddit is full of things called subreddits, and subreddits are different categories. And so I started exploring all of these different categories, right? And I started seeing, wow, there's a lot of people on these subreddits talking about Substack. And there's a lot of people talking about how to make money on the side hustles. And there's a lot of people talking about which newsletter is better than the other. Should I be on Ghost or Substack or Beehive or whatever? And so I was seeing all of this activity. And one of the things that I think in general for anybody who wants to get anyone to their Substack business, whatever it is that you're doing that you want to attract customers, is just be useful. Be useful, right? It's not about taking, it's not about introducing yourself and telling everyone how wonderful you are. It's be useful to people. So, what I know is it's taken me 3 years to get to 3,500 subscribers, which is a respectable number on Substack. And, a few times in the bestseller charts and all that kind of stuff. But it has not been that easy. It's a slog, right? And I get publicity in national newspapers, and I reach out to other Substackers, and I collaborate with people, and I do all the things that I do because I enjoy it and I like doing all of these things. But what I recognize on Reddit is that the only way that you get people interested in what you're doing on Reddit is be useful. Give them information that is really useful. So I just literally did a bit of my brain dump on somebody who was saying, oh, I've grown to 150,000 followers on Substack and I've done this. And then they turn out to be like a national newspaper journalist with a weekly column, right? And you just
Mm,
think that's not fucking useful for
that's
anybody,
fair.
right? Like you're a
People
piece
know
of
you.
like,
Yeah.
who cares? Like, of course. It's like if Elizabeth Gilbert or somebody rocks up on Substack, of course everybody's going to subscribe, right? But if you're not Elizabeth Gilbert, if you're not famous, like, how do you do it? So I just thought, I'm just going to set it all out how I did it. Like, this is what I do. I post every week. I do a podcast every week. I do a blog every week. I publicize what I do in national media because what I do is interesting to national media because I guess 64-year-old women don't fuck anymore. So that's interesting to them. Uh,
Newswork.
right. And I just basically laid it all out. And then I got a lot of people commenting and responding, thousands of people, because they were like, thank God somebody is finally honest about this. Not somebody's not telling you you're going to grow to $10,000 a month in 3 months or get, whatever. And sure, if you're a growth expert, then maybe you can do that kind of stuff like a Sarah Fay or Anna Collin or whatever. But for those of us who don't write about growth, which I
Mhm.
don't generally, then how do you do it? And that was really what I found was just constantly commenting on Reddit, writing on Reddit, just being really honest about what it takes to get people to read or to listen or to watch what it is that you're producing.
I've noticed the same, and I do not have 3,000 subscribers to brag about. I don't know how many I have. 500 on one and 300 on another. So let's say 800 in total, even though I'm sure there's overlap there. But let's just wrap it up. But it's been 8 months, and 800 in 8 months, that's a long journey, right? It's a
Yeah.
constant grind.
Yeah.
And I feel like you pointed to the absolute truth that people, I don't know, wrap it in courses and all kinds of shit, but it's basically be useful. What are you being paid for in your real life, or have you been paid for in the past? Can wrap it up, spin it up in a Substack, and try to maybe have that topic that is also interesting to you, or spin it in a way that's interesting. Like, I was a lawyer. I still am a lawyer.
Yeah.
Started out on my own last December. Have my own clients because I wanted to work the way I wanted to and give the advice that I wanted to in my own voice without trying to please the employer and things like that, and just make my own way.
Yeah.
And then when I started touching on legal topics, that's when people started to comment and like and share. I'm like, interesting. I would have never thought people care about legal stuff. And that's what I should be writing on Substack. I was writing about coaching and owning your time. My main publication is called Me Time, and it's all about, taking control of your life. Decide on what you want to do. Don't give your power to other people, like your employer or your husband or your partner or whoever. Just keep it to yourself. Be very strict about who you give your time and attention to. Anyway, so I was writing about that because that's what I was feeling. That's how I quit my job and started on my own. And then I'm like, people like the legal stuff. And then I realized that they like the legal stuff because I'm saying it in my own voice, because I'm cutting through the crap and the lingo and everything else.
Hey, yeah.
And just giving it simple. Not only that, but I was talking about what's relevant to Substackers, which
Yeah.
everyone's interested in. And that's how I met also you, actually. We had a chat about terms and conditions and how people that are on Substack providing advice and courses and stuff like that, they should really have their terms and conditions, because Substack doesn't have your back on that part of the.
Well, and I think
I'm not.
also, when the shit hit the fan with Lucy Werner of Hype Yourself losing all of her Substack, and I think what sometimes it's timing, right? And I remember you came along with your advice around, what happens when you lose, when you accidentally delete, or your Substack is deleted and suddenly all of this stuff is gone. Like, what are your legal rights? Like, do you have any legal rights? Who owns this stuff? Like, what should we be doing about it? And I suppose for me, that was what appealed to, that's what you did that appealed to me. Is like, because I suddenly got a bit freaked out at that moment. I was like, these people don't really have our back. I mean, like,
They're a business.
they're a platform just like anywhere else. If you lose something, if I've known people that have had Instagram accounts of hundreds of thousands of people just deleted, right? So you just think, I'm pouring all of my energy into this. Like, where is the legal responsibility from my side to make sure that I'm covered? And
Yeah.
so, of course, people are always going to be interested, especially when big events happen. For me, that was quite a big event, right?
Yeah.
That
And
I
she
thought,
lost all of her subscribers and didn't manage to get all of them back
oh, I
because
know, it's
she
terrible.
didn't download her lists. So FYI, you can go into the dashboard and download a CVS file, which is an Excel, of your
Yeah.
subscribers, so you can have it stored somewhere on your laptop somewhere. So you can, if something happens, I've heard stories of Substack deleting people because they got reported because of kind of a spam on notes or something, and got reported as spam or something, and then Substack deleted or temporarily interrupted their account. It's like with any platform, you have nothing to rely on but yourself, which
No,
means back yourself up, have terms and conditions if you're running a business through your Substack, like coaching, if you're providing medical advice or stuff like that. But I don't want to make this a promo about why you need terms and conditions, because that's not what people join.
no. But what you say is it's about being helpful, right? It's about it. And for me, the subreddit was about people being very honest about how difficult they were finding it to grow on the platform. We're looking for advice. People with already significant followings were giving advice that I didn't think was particularly useful. And I always think it's best to just be straight up and honest, because not everybody wants to or has the opportunity to invest the kind of time that it may take to grow a significant audience, especially if you're not a growth person on Substack, right? So
Exactly.
where can you find those opportunities to engage with people that are going to be interested? And I think, look, with what I do as well, some people would say it's ultra niche. I would say it's just niche, right? Which is that I'm very clear about the fact that, I give sex advice from the perspective of somebody who's older and somebody who's been through the menopause and somebody who's has lived experience of doing lots of things in alternative lifestyles and I put myself out there literally and figuratively in multiple ways and so people respond to that. So the other way that I've grown my own particular Substack and just my own profile really is to use the power of the media. And I do think as well, and I would say this, of course, as a publicist, former publicist, is that never underestimate what the media could be interested in when it comes to real life stories, because everybody always thinks, oh, but my life's not really that interesting. I mean, frankly, I don't think a 64-year-old woman that has sex every Sunday is that interesting myself, but numerous magazines and newspapers seem to think that's fascinating because so they want to interview me about that. But I think, what is it that you're doing, whether it's giving up your corporate life to do something on your own, which people think is a super brave decision, especially if you've got a family and kids and financial responsibilities, like that makes a good story. Um, People just have really weird, quirky interests, always make a good story. There's so many ways that you can drive just people to your Substack by just being really kind of just pulling out the quirkiness in your own life, really.
So, just to recap, Suzanne grew because she was helpful on Substack, but also on the Reddit slash r slash Substack thread,
And
helping.
newsletters and side hustles. So that there's three that I kind of bounce around, three of them.
Newsletters and side hustles.
Side hustles, newsletters, and Substack.
Awesome. And you can find your own niche, because if you write about crochet, there might be a Reddit about crochet. So obviously you should be there and find your people that love crochet, right? It makes sense. One of the rules that I think I've seen across the different growth guru content is find your people. And that doesn't mean find your people on Substack. It means find your people, period. So think, where would I find my people? And try to go there. See if you enjoy that platform and it's easy to integrate it a little bit in your life, then use it and you're going to grow a little bit. So spread your spores a little bit. Don't just fish in one pond.
And
Go
don't be
back
and be helpful. I think that's the thing. Is like, if you are going to if you do crochet, you're going to go on a crochet subreddit, then you don't go like, "Hey, I'm Suzanne. I love crochet. I want to tell you everybody about my crochet Substack." You go, "Hey, I see that you love making squares in crochet. I love making squares in crochet. And here's something really cool that I did. And I've got a whole bunch of pictures of my other squares that I've made on my Substack if you want to go check it out." Like, so make it like almost like an afterthought. Like, oh, you just might want to, because what you're trying to do is be charming and friendly and helpful before you give them the big sales spiel, which is, which you
And
have to.
sometimes you don't need to do this sales spiel, because people get curious. If you have enough good information for them, they're going to be like, who is this person? That's why you figured out that guy was a journalist, because he's like, who's this guy spinning all these lies? And well, I'm exaggerating, but what I wanted to mention, because you mentioned Sarah Faye and Anna Colleen, and I'm actually a paid subscriber of both of them. So even I did notice something, and I do like what they're doing from a lot of points of view. One is a marketing expert, the other one is a writer. All things that I'm not, so I wanted to learn from them. But there comes a time in a Substacker's journey where they're so big that they're interpreting something that they've changed in how they Substack as a growth hack when it isn't. And I have a very concrete example of that, just to kind of give you a flavor of why you should trust your own instincts and grow at your own pace, and don't trust everything that growth gurus say. Of course, they have good knowledge that you should impart, but it's never perfect. It's never 100%. So the story was about tags. Maybe you know about it.
Oh, yes.
So
I
at
did those.
one point, almost everyone thought if you tag yourself somehow, you're going to grow, you're going to be discovered by more people. And so people would spend hours and hours trying to retag. So Anna Kalin was suggesting that we should go through our tags and change the tags to something unlikely so we can be discovered in other categories. That turned out to be a load of bullshit
Yeah.
that now nobody believes in and nobody speaks about anymore, including her. She never said, oh, yeah, that was shit, which could have been a nice kind of, way to act, just to kind of build some credibility and be like, oops, my bad. And my theory why this happened and why she actually probably believed in what she was saying, of course, was that she was growing at the crazy
Pace. Pace.
level.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
even if she would have farted, she would have. But she's not gonna go on Substack and be like, fart more, you're gonna get more subscribers. So she is, I don't know, tweaking something in her profile, thinks she stumbled onto something, or maybe has read someone else that says something about tags. She tries it, and then the same week she grows by 7,000 subscribers, and she's like, holy shit, I need to share this with my subscribers. And it turns out that she's so valuable to Substack because she has so many paid subscribers that she is just being promoted, pushed from the background by Substack to grow. And it has nothing to do
Yeah.
necessarily with the thing that she's saying. I'm not saying she has no knowledge. She does.
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
taken
yeah.
her boot camp. I think you've taken her boot camp
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
On
yeah.
marketing, and she's great. So I'm not trying to knock her, but I'm saying everyone has a blind spot. Even if I come here and I tell you legal things, like I wrote an article about copyright and how if you write with AI, you might not have copyright, so be careful about it.
Yeah,
Use
yeah.
your brain, because if not, you lose it. But if I said something that's not quite accurate in that article, that's also because I'm fucking human. And humans don't necessarily 100% understand and can regurgitate the truth. The truth is a very difficult thing to put into words and actually be true. It can be truthful for a second and then things change, especially in law, where case law really
Yeah.
comes from all over the place. So what I'm trying to say is, if you just show up genuinely, help other people, and that's your kind of main attitude towards growth,
Yeah, yeah.
inadvertently, you're gonna go towards a niche that needs you without it feeling like homework, without it feeling like you're digging for gold and hopefully you get something. Just having this service minded attitude, being, generously giving your information and your time will help you grow more than if you're just following everyone's advice blindly, which is a trap. And you might end up, oops, we lost Suzanne. Hopefully she joins again, which is a trap. And I don't really recommend it for anyone. I guess maybe she could have gotten a call or something. I heard that might happen. Anyways, losing my track of thought. I see we have around 30 people here on the live with us, waiting for Suzanne to join. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to recap what we just talked about, just for everyone, especially the ones that joined nowish. We said that Substack can grow, can help you grow not only through notes in Substack and the classic path, but you can actually also do it by using Reddit and subreddits there that speak about a topic that you're writing about. Is it travel? Is it crochet? Is it anime? Is it legal advice for people that don't have a legal background and want to start their own business? It can be anything. You find your people on other platforms. It can be LinkedIn, it can be Reddit, it can be, I don't know, whatever it is. And then you start to be helpful and help people make posts, inform about your craft, your knowledge, and that's how you grow. About the Reddit dash Substack, one thing that you really need to be aware of is that they've changed the engagement rules recently, which means that actually You're not supposed to promote yourself directly. So you're not supposed to say, oh, this is my Substack, I write about this, please follow, or things like that will be taken down. They might even kick you out of Reddit. So you actually need to be helpful and stick to the topic at hand to be able to, engage with people. And that's really helpful. Another thing that I really encourage you to do, which is kind of very similar to using Reddit for your growth, is actually using other publications chat for your growth. So as I mentioned, I'm a paid subscriber of Anna Kalin from How We Grow and Sarah Faye Writers at Work, because one is a writer, the other one is a marketer, and I have none of that knowledge, so I wanted to learn from them. And then whenever I have an article that I'm publishing, I always share it also on their chats. And that gets people that are interested to respond to me. There's also people that are like, why are you trying to sell to me? And all of the grumpy people. But that's, the the game. So you can share something that's relevant in a thread, especially on these big chats where there's a lot of people. Some of them might also be interested in your topic. So it's a free access to the chat, or replying on threads, or joining a notes boost, you can always try doing some of that. But at the end of the day, the balance is a bit skewed. You don't know how much time you need to invest to grow. So what is most important is being as efficient as possible. So if I'm going to put a post just on the notes river by just creating a note, I know that note is just going to disappear most likely. If you also put it in some of these chats, in the boosts that are coming up or something like that, you have more chances of it being seen by people and possibly attracting audience. One last thing about growth. I don't know if Suzanne is still joining us. I'm definitely going to summarize at the end for the new joiners. Another thing about growth is it's not linear, and it's not very clear what you do directly creates that growth. But what I've seen really, really working is actually what I did today with Suzanne, or what we both did, joining in live together, because then both our audiences are invited into this space to know both of us and decide if they want to subscribe to Suzanne or to myself, right? They get to also have face-to-face time with you. A lot of the growth people say actually lives are not very good, but I think they're actually very key in increasing something that is called know, like, and trust factor. Because people do not buy the product, they buy the person. They buy, I trust this person to tell me the truth, to give me practical advice, or whatever you want, to teach me how to beautifully watercolor beautiful water lilies or whatever. And for that, they need to see you. And it's impractical to have one-on-one calls with people that might be interested in what you're doing. But if you do a live and then you publish that live in your publication, all of a sudden your face is there. And people just, for curiosity, can just jump on it and hear your voice, see your face, how you smile, how you express yourself. And that really drives growth, because especially in the world we're living today, where there's a lot of AI garbage coming around, where people are half writing their notes, half putting agents to do the work for them. You don't know who you're following anymore. There's a lot of accounts. There's not even a face on it. You don't know where it comes from. So it's really important to show up as a human, a helpful human, and try for yourself. And just to wrap it up, me time, my publication, I am organizing do sessions. They're going to start 1st of September, one time for Europe, one time for the US, where I will create a to-do list of things that are needed in order to monetize your Substack, and gathered from all the courses and information I've taken. And if you want, you can also follow your own to-do list of what you want to do. There's going to be a breakout room where we're going to do kind of chats. And if someone wants to go deeper into things, for the first session, what we're going to do is the about page and also the subscriber journey. and what you need to set up, see how it looks, and make sure it really communicates what you want it to communicate, and make the kind of arrival into your publication as interesting and as engaging as it can be. And then every week we're going to do different sessions, 1 hour and a half. They're going to be structured on my to-do list that I'm going to share with everyone joining. And then we're going to have few 20-minute sessions where you're working on your own. We turn off video and audio, and we just work. And then we put camera on. We share what we did. We ask for feedback. We have a chat and a mental break. And then we go to the next task and the next task. I'm going to see in the first session how much we managed to do to kind of not make an overwhelming to-do list that we don't go through at the other end. But the reason why I created this do sessions is actually because having taken courses about Substack growth and about marketing and about side hustles and other things, I've noticed that there's so much information, but there's little time to actually get everything done that they're talking about. I didn't manage to this day to finish the courses that I've taken. So I decided, why not learn in public? Why not do it and help others do it at the same time? So I'm not a growth guru. I don't know if I would ever get to that part or if I want to. I'm actually a lawyer. I have clients where I help them with privacy and audits and other things, legal audits and security audits. And that's how I make a living. And I do this actually because I think it's fun. And I wanted to do something different with my life that wasn't just corporate work and talking about privacy and security and helping corporations. I wanted to also help people. It's fun for me. And also working from home by myself, I wanted to create a community around me so I don't feel alone. So that's why I created it. And if you're interested, subscribe to Me Time, because I'm going to send out some communications about the do sessions in the following days. This is my first week back from vacation, so I'm taking it kind of slow. If there's a publication that doesn't spam you with stuff, I think it's mine because I'm so slow at doing all the things. But that's also nice because we know the amounts of emails coming out of Substack. So just to wrap up for the people that just joined, Suzanne was with us, but she disappeared at one point. So hopefully she's fine and just her internet turned off or something. Wi-Fi turned off or something. But basically what we said is that you can grow beyond what the possibilities are within Substack. You can use Reddit/Substack, which is a thread about how to grow on about Substack, how it works. People have questions. If you're helpful there, share your advice. Then people are going to be curious about you and will go to your publication and hopefully subscribe. Also look for other subreddits that are a topic that you're passionate about and that you're writing about. So if you have a travel blog on Substack, for example, find some travel Substacks. Find your people, and you don't need to find your people just on Substack, especially because they changed their algorithm recently, and being discovered on Substack is less and less likely. Spread your wings wider. Share things on LinkedIn if you're more of a professional type publication that speaks about, I don't know, something that would appeal to people that go on LinkedIn, for example. The other thing that I was suggesting was that you can use groups within Substack. So the How We Grow chat, if you're a paid subscriber, you can just post there what you're talking about, your latest publication, your latest workshop. You can promote it there at very low cost. And all of a sudden you get into the face of 50,000 people that are on Substack and want to grow. So if there's an overlap there, then you might be able to grow a bit faster or get more people's eyeballs on the thing that you're offering. So think about that as an alternative way to just shooting out notes into the notes river. And the last one, the big growth hack, be helpful. So I hope this was helpful. I'm sad that Suzanne vanished into thin air and isn't able to tell you about her wonderful publication, but I'll tell you now. Subscribe to um, Sex Advice for Seniors, and she also has a do session type thing, which is Get Work Done Club, which is a work group for seniors to get their business, set up their business. So that's the topic of the Substack Suzanne has. Mine is Me Time. You're the CEO of your own life, and that publication is all about creating your side hustle, creating a life and a career that is not fully dependent on joyful employment that we know has little to do with joy many times. And then the other thing is the other publication that I have is called Legally Speaking. And it's, that phrase that lawyers say a lot, legally speaking, this is not really an issue or whatever. So I took that phrase, and what I write there is about relevant legal topics for the Substack community. My last post was about copyright and how can you maintain your copyright even if you write with AI, or parts of the things you do is done with AI, because fully AI created works being written or art or photos or things like that in most countries are not protected by copyright, which means you cannot make money from them, or if someone steals it and says it's theirs, cannot say anything. Basically, you have no right. So if you're interested in those topics, also feel free to subscribe to me. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you've gotten a lot of information out of this. If you subscribe to Me Time, you're also going to get the recording of this in your email. I try to do it the same day, but let's see what happens today. I have some engagements happening, but I'll try my very best to do it today or tomorrow, so you have it in your inbox. So if you've joined halfway or something like that, you'll get the information you've missed. But my summary was very, very good. I'm pretty sure I've covered everything. So I wish you a very good day or afternoon or evening, depending on where you are in the world. And in absentium, thank you, Suzanne, for joining me today. Sorry that you had to pop out. And I'll see you guys at my next live video. And it might be about copyright and what I wrote in that article, just because I saw some comments on people interpreting the article, and I'm not really sure people fully got it exactly how I intended it to be, which happens. Legal stuff is a bit complex, trying to make it easy and accessible, but there's always chances of misunderstandings misunderstandings. Okay, so have a great day. Thank you for spending these 40 minutes or so with me today. And I hope to see you around in the Substacks. Take care. I need to press the button. Here we are. And live video. Bye, guys.